We are talking about playing in the post. Everybody understands what the post area is in basketball. Since I'm standing on a court right here, the post area in basketball is anywhere here, basically from this block up to the corner here, which is known as the elbow. Just because in basketball, like anything else, we love our phrases. This would be high post. This would be mid post. This would be low post, just in case you're interested in the lingo. What does the post mean? Well, it means a lot, because it's well known for centuries in play of basketball that if the ball goes into the post closer to the basket, then you probably have a little better chance of scoring. Doesn't mean the person in the post is going to do the scoring, but if a ball goes to the post, then defensively they have to collapse, or at least certainly be cognizant of the ball now on the post being close to the basket. Because of that dastardly 3-second rule, of course, we have to teach our post players that anytime they step inside this 3-second lane, that they only get 3 seconds. So posting can't be done in the lane, it must be done outside the lane. All right, this is where it gets tough. Think of yourself. Some of you might have even played the post. Pat, you might have been a post player at one time. I started in this gym as a high school player, as a back-to-the-basket, 6-foot, robust, 190-pound high school center. And that's all I did is play back to the basket. Greatest years of my life. Made me tough because 4 people used to guard me every game and beat the you-know-what out of me. Post play is very hard because it is the one offensive position you play with your back to the basket. Everything else is front to the basket. Everything else, here you're back to the basket. It's sort of like backstrokers in swimming. They swim with their face up. Everybody else swims with their face down. My wife, of course, was a backstroker, a smart swimmer. She could breathe into the air instead of breathing in the water. So this is weird. Fish out of water. How do you play with your back to the basket? Now add a couple of other troubling aspects. I'm trying to get the ball from somewhere over here, and there's a defender. More often than not, even at this age, hitting me in the kidneys, kicking me in the back of the legs, trying to root me out. All right? Don't watch the NBA. You can see all sorts of wonderful, tragic things committed on post players at that level. But here I am, a 7th, 8th grade kid, and I'm trying to learn. So, what I tell coaches all the time is footwork. If you're going to catch the ball in the post, the first thing you have to do is learn how to catch it with 2 feet on the ground, a jump stop. So what I do, and we'll show a little of this later, is I have a passer, but I'll pass to myself in this case. And what I want to do is cut across the lane and just learn to catch the ball with 2 hands with a jump stop. Pass could be coming from there. Any coach could do it. Kid could cut from here. I'll just throw it myself. Catch it. Okay, I've got my position. I am somewhat above the low post. My back is to the basket. Now, I've got a ball. I've got a defender behind me. How do I shoot? How do I get open to shoot? What do I do? Lots of questions. Unfortunately, for the scope of this, I don't have many answers. But this is what I want to tell you. If you learn to do this without defense, just get a kid comfortable with playing back to the basket and learning how to shoot without any defense at all, then eventually down the road, probably into high school, he or she will have a chance to get off shots with defense on. Play some loose defense just to get a kid a shot or an idea of what it's like. Which is my pivot foot? I haven't declared it yet. I jump stop. It could be my right, it could be my left. Right-handed players like I am, right, generally take better turnaround shots off their right shoulder, like this. Even though it's closer to the defender, it's a quicker turn. Like this, takes a longer route, harder shot. Left-handed players on this side, jump stop, would turn and shoot there. All right, so go with their strength. Now, I'm not saying 100% of the players do this, but that's general rule of thumb. Your right-handed players turn better off their right shoulder. Your left-handed players turn better off their left shoulder. Other post. Now, too many people for too many years have taught all sorts of post moves. And I've seen kids more messed up by this than helped. because they taught them the 2,000 greatest post moves in the history of the world. And you know what? All they really needed was 4. 2 on each side. Simplify, simplify, simplify. And again, we're talking 7th or 8th graders, so we really got to simplify. So when you come over here, right-handed players, teach them that little turnaround right there. Nice little turnaround jump shot. Off the backboard, high off the board, like this. Without pressure, and then with increased intensity of pressure. Now comes the second one. Obviously, you're using your right pivot foot there. I'm here. What they can do is take one long step. Remember, they're righty. One long step with their left. Why? No one ever followed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I have no idea. He only scored 38,000 points with the single greatest offensive move in the history of basketball. Right to here. Let's call our lefties over here. If you have lefties, turn and shoot. And long step, right, left. Quick little hitters. Are they going to hit a whole lot of them? No. They're going to miss far more than they make. But what you're trying to do is learn how to play with your back to the basket with some pressure behind. Add some defense along the way, but don't make it tough defense. Always remember, the player who's posting has 2 things to worry about. Number 1, keeping his or her position, and number 2, catching the ball with someone firing up his or her kidneys. The defender has one thing to worry about, trying to deny the ball or putting pressure on the defensive player. Okay. The third thing, and I'm going to leave it at this, which you'll see out here later, is something called a drop step. Anybody heard of it? Drop step, very good move, very difficult to execute, and this is even higher level high school kids have trouble with this. A drop step is done to the baseline side of the basket. It is done with the dribble, low and controlled, to keep it away from the matting flies and crowd that tend to populate down here, especially little defensive guards. As I post, and this will always be done above the level of the block, which gives you some baseline room, as I post, all right, I can just drop this foot right here. Now, if someone's standing here, it's going to be a little different. If I lean a little this way, then I might get my defender pushing there. I drop this step right here, which means I seal my defender. Nice little dribble here, right up to the basket. Over here, I can look this way, maybe even give a quick ball fake. Notice it's tight. It's not out here, throwing myself off balance. It's here. Drop this step, one hard dribble, up to the basket. Terrific basketball move. It's been in vogue now for decades. Not easy if the defensive players play high, and that's awfully hard for a young kid to figure out because he or she doesn't quite know where that person is, and sometimes they'll run over a person with a drop step. So those are 3 things right there. Catch, turn around, catch, little baby hook, catch, turn around, lefty in this case, baby hook, little shake, Hakeem Olajuwon, boom. 3 moves, each side of the court. Will this happen by 8th grade? No way. But if you can get your taller players comfortable with this, with a little defensive pressure,